ridiculous how different it can make you look. Professional camera, perfect lighting. I've just done a workout. I've got fake tan on and I've got oil. Like, it may as well be a different person. Then you go home and you look in the mirror and you look at the picture and you go, fuck, am I fat again? And you're spending time usually with someone you care about. I would imagine if you've gone to a gig or a concert, you've just got your phone out so you can record it, which it looks 10 times worse to the people watching it back.
Shit.
And all you can hear is you singing it badly.
Yeah. Or the guy next to you.
Yeah, exactly. Have I lost the fucking plot? Some people would boomerang the fucking grandma going into the fucking ground in the coffin, wouldn't they? Oh. Bye, grandma. Oh, she's come back. Oh. Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with people?
Don't you see how much you have to offer, and yet you settle for less? Marcus Aurelius. I'm going to throw in another one as well, which links to this. How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? 2 voices, 2 truths, 1 message. You are capable of more, you know it, and yet how often do you downplay your potential, wait for the right time, or settle for the version of life that's familiar instead of compelling? Today, raise your standards, decide to show up, to demand more from yourself, not out of ego is the enemy, but out of respect for the life that you've been given. Let's go.
I like that, especially the last bit about the ego, because that was driving most of my behaviour for a lot of my life. Training in the gym, dieting, to try be lean, to get validated by strangers. I remember a mentor of mine, a guy called Rob Northfield, very straight talking man. I've referenced him a couple of times on the podcast before without naming him, but he's a great guy. And he said, when we were talking, he said, you strike me as the kind of guy that diets just for a holiday. And at the time I was like, fuck off. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you've come here with your banana and your water bottle and this and that and the other, and you're trying to almost prove a point to everyone else in the room how healthy you are. I'm wondering why you're doing that. I was like, what do you mean? When do you go on holiday next? I said, 6 weeks. Okay. So I used to work with a guy who was, cause he was a mentor of people that are high positions like CEOs and things like that. And I think it was the CEO of BP, a very, very big role. And the guy would put this was seen as healthy at the time, but he'd put a box of cornflakes on his desk. So when everyone walked in, he could perceive he was eating healthily, because that's what was perceived as healthy in the late 80s. And he said, why do you do that? He said, oh, I'm eating healthily. He said, so why do you need to tell everyone? Why do you need to show people? Why can't you just do it?
Validation.
And then that showed up for me. I was like, shit, yeah. It wasn't that I was trying to prove a point by drinking water and having a banana. Ironically, I've got both those items with me today.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's something that you regularly have.
Yeah, there's just a very different attachment to it now. The training I would do would all be centered around looking good on the beach and not being functional, using the wrong technique, lifting weights that were far too heavy for me. And it's only probably been the last, I'd say even 6 months really, where I'm doing it for the right reasons now, being as functional as I possibly can be, making sure that I'm training for the sport that I want to play, which is tennis and football and what have you. So yeah, that was showing up for me around the ego thing, doing it for the right reasons. What did you get from that?
Well, when I wrote it last night, I've done 3 parts. So I've taken obviously Marcus Aurelius's part and Epictetus. Obviously Marcus Aurelius was after Epictetus. And then the ego bit at the bottom, I put ego as the enemy, and that's Ryan Holiday. That's the title of one of his books. Well, obviously he writes all about Stoicism. So I just thought I'd tie it all in. There was multiple things. I more wrote it for our clients, obviously, because these are messages that we put them in the chat, don't we, every morning, different things like this in our group chat. And I know there's lots of people who do downplay, and whether you're downplay it out in person or downplaying it in your mind and you're not showing up, but every day, every morning is an opportunity to show up as your best. So you don't need to drag yesterday into today, which a lot of people do that. They drag all of yesterday into today. If you adopt the mindset of a beginner's mind, then you can sort of renew every time. So that's what that came out. And then the ego bit as well, as you were saying then, that reminded me of when I used to use Instagram and share all my runs on Instagram, and then I'd share my Strava. And then it got me, Fran shared a reel with me last night. It was from this comedian. I can't remember his name. He's quite funny. She follows him. I can't remember his name. This is like if you're a runner before social media.
Oh yeah.
Do you see it?
The guy with curly hair.
Yeah. It's got a slight eye. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hilarious, isn't he?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Can't remember.
But anyway, she sent it to me and I was like absolutely just pissing myself because that was me. Yeah, just sharing my Strava runs, even my CrossFit workouts. I don't do that anymore. I don't do it anymore. It's like no one gives a shit. No one cares. But it's just the way that comedian does it. It like comes around to your house and goes, "Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I've just been for a run. Oh yeah, why are you telling me this? Well, I've just done 8K, and there's a bit of elevation, and the ascent was sort of 200 meters, and this and that. Yeah, and I've drawn a map. So good.
Yeah, because you just wouldn't do it before.
You just wouldn't do it. No. And it's weird. Like I went out for a run last week, and like just the mindset. It used to be, share it online. No one cares. No one cares.
No, but it's your attachment to the perception of others. Usually because of how you perceive yourself. If I'm not doing this, I'm not doing enough.
Yes.
I'm like, but compared to what? We had this conversation with a client yesterday based out in America. And again, it was all the language of, but I used to be able to do. So, but now you can't. That's the reality. How far back do we want to go? It's good to gain some perspective and have a bit of context, but say, well, yeah, I celebrate what my body could do 10 years ago. And I probably could get back to that, but it's going to take some time. So if I allow myself that time in that grace period, then I can achieve it rather than using it as a shitty stick to say, I'm not as fit as I once was in my 20s or in my 30s if you're in your 40s now, and so on. And yeah, it's an interesting concept, but like you said, it is usually steeped in self-perception and ego. Equally, low self-esteem and ego are very closely knit together, I think.
In what way?
In that some people won't push themselves because they have got low self-esteem.
Yeah.
But then you could say, well, why do you care? Well, it's because your ego is taking over. So maybe they're quite closely linked.
Could be.
Why do you care if someone thinks you're overweight? Oh, because your ego's taking over. And you could also say, though, the reason is because you've got low self-esteem. But is the low self-esteem created because you're overweight? So I think there's a little bit of cause and effect there.
Cause and effect, yeah.
It's kind of like the confidence and arrogance piece. I remember listening to Tony Robbins talk about Andre Agassi, back in the day when he was the man and he was unbeatable. And he showed him 2 videos. One where he was absolutely smashing it and he was world number 1. And one where he was really struggling for form and losing uncharacteristically against way lower ranked opponents. And he said, I can't teach you how to be a better tennis player. I don't know the first thing about how to be a better tennis player than Andre Agassi. He said, but I was going to show you these 2 clips. And the difference in physiology, his physical being when he walked on the court, in the one where he won like 6-1, 6-love, 6-0, or 6-love again. He said, what were you thinking? He said, I literally looked across the court and thought, why did you even bother showing up? And he smashed him. And he wasn't walking around like, Conor McGregor kind of thing does now, and what have you. But he just had a quiet confidence about himself when he approached the court. And everything he did, from preparation to warm up to the match to the cool down, everything was just, I'm the best. So you could say, why do you even bother showing up? It's your opponent. That's really arrogant. You could say confidence. So they're quite closely interlinked. Yeah. When he showed him the other video where he got beat 6-1, 6-love, 6-1 or whatever, his shoulders were a little bit more rounded. His head was a little bit more down than it was usually. And he just said, what were you focusing on there? He's like, why did I bother showing up? Because I knew I'm going to get beat today. So I just found that kind of what you focus on, you'll find. The physical aspect of it, of how he was carrying himself, but the messages he was sending to himself were vastly different. Because he could say, I'm going to get embarrassed here. Oh, I've got low self-esteem. Or he could say, I'm going to get embarrassed here. This is going to be awful for my name and my reputation. Is that his ego? So I don't know. They're quite closely linked.
Yeah. Like on the Instagram thing, like when I used to do it, yes, it was kind of, it was two parts. It was, look at me, look what I'm doing. But I also used it as an accountability piece. You know,
to who?
It was to I think it was to myself. Getting up at 5 a.m. and going out for runs.
Could you have done it in a private WhatsApp chat to yourself?
Probably could have, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think it's like at the time, because I was part of a team and everything, you know, part of the gym that I was involved in and everything. So I was tagging them and everything. So it was like a cult thing, probably, as that was playing into it. But now I'm just like, I don't know. I don't, for me, because it's different now with social media, because back then we didn't have a business. Now we've got a business. So I use social media for completely different reasons. So if I go on social media now, if I share something, usually I'll add some value to it. I'm not just going to share it because this is what I'm doing. I'll if I do, then on the next story or something, I'll add some value, definitely. But that's because we use social media differently, don't we now?
Yes, we do. I still think within that there's some challenges that I've had. I remember when we went to the Algarve a couple of years ago, when we went to the Comrade, I was speaking to Patrick about it. I remember showing it on the story and, you know, whatever. And he just said, okay, what was sort of rocking your inner peace when you got back? I said, the fact that I was sharing things on my story. And he said, okay, what was the motivation behind it? And I said, honestly, I said, to show people that we were going to the Algarve and staying at the Comrade. He was like, did you know at the time that it was going to rock your inner peace? I said, yeah. So that was an old habit of weirdly self-harming. Not that I ever have cut myself, and we know before, for anyone new listening to the podcast, self-sabotage is self-harm wrapped up in a fucking bow.
Yeah.
Because you're causing harm to oneself.
It's to your mind, to your internal peace. Yeah.
So I almost knew beforehand that this was going to cause me a bit of frustration. Why did I do that? But it's because of the familiarity, as you alluded to in the phrasing at the beginning, the familiarity of being annoyed at myself or disappointed when I knew it wasn't going to improve my trip by taking pictures of the nice pool and the nice restaurants. So I do it, or in the hope that people see it and validate it. All the while, me knowing that no matter how many likes it got or views it got, it wouldn't have made me feel any better. So what was the fucking point? Oh, is my insecurity showing up again? Or is it that it's an old pattern of not liking myself?
Yeah.
Probably a bit of both.
Probably a bit of both.
Because when I went through a physical transformation, I've been through a couple in the last few years, but coming out of COVID, where I lost that like 30 kilos in about 6 months or something, because I was a big unit and I lost a lot of weight. And then I got to put a little bit back on, and then I joined UFit in Garforth and saw great results there. And I remember when Johnny said to me, do you want to do a photo shoot to track your progress? And at the time, it's done like a 12-week plan. By week 10, I think I was consuming maybe 1,700 calories. I was miserable as fuck. Ooh. But my body fat got down to about 8 or 9%. And I was very lean. But even then, there was a few things showing up for me that day. Why have I done this to myself? Because I was injured a lot. I was lifting really heavy weights and really depleting my calorie intake. So I was never more injured. I was on the treatment table twice a month, which was costing me 140 quid on top of what my gym membership was. And I was in a lot of pain. But when I showed up on the day, there's 2 guys that went to the gym that were absolutely shredded. And in a lineup of 1 million people, they'd probably be in the top 20 shredded people, that, you know, just because they're in ridiculous shape. But I was looking at them going, oh God, I wish I was that lean. So then I was frustrated at myself for doing that. I was also frustrated at myself for trying to prove a point by doing this workout and then getting oiled up and fucking fake tanned and which in perfect lighting, which isn't how I look anyway. So when you see the pictures, I look amazing in it, but I felt shit. I felt really drained. It's not an accurate representation of what I actually look like. And then what happened was, when I left the studio, I was like, right, air quote, cheat meal time. And I was craving a box of Krispy Kreme donuts and a pizza and all this stuff. And I had half of it, of what I wanted to eat, and I felt like I was going to throw up because obviously I'd not consumed that many calories recently. So again, I was further punishing myself. So that whole process taught me so much when I have reflected, only in the last, as I say, 6 months or so, and I've really reflected on why I did that. It was still seeking the validation. It was still hoping that people would see, look how lean I am, look how great I look, when in reality I didn't look anything like the pictures. Well, not anything like, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I know what you mean with like the lighting.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous how different it can make you look. Yeah. Professional camera, perfect lighting. I've just done a workout. I've got fake tan on and I've got oil all over me. Like, it may as well be a different person. Then you go home, you look in the mirror and you look at the picture and you go, fuck, am I fat again? And you're like, no, because I'm fucking less than 10% body fat. But the picture and what I see in the mirror are 2 different things.
Yeah.
So that whole process, it took me a couple of years to come to the realization that that was stupid for all sorts of reasons. It proved to me that I could be disciplined. It proved to me...
I say you got lessons out of it.
That I can get in great shape, yeah. It proved to me that I was stronger at, I think I was 34 at the time, than I'd ever been. I was fitter than I'd ever been. But it came at a cost. It was all wrapped up in external things as opposed to internal. And it's what we referred to before as, is this a good value or is this a junk value?
Yeah.
And it was very much around the junk value.
Yeah.
But a lot of people still see that with the clients that we work with and people that we talk to and the videos that we watch. So if you are listening to this now, ask yourself, why did you get that car? Why did you buy that watch? Why are you taking pictures of your dinner when you go to nice restaurants with your partner and uploading it to Instagram? What's the real driver behind it? Do you want to be a photographer? If so, take a picture of your meal. If you want people to see that you've just been to the Ivy just so you can show off to your friends, I'd probably say that's a junk value.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because like I've had sort of like thoughts like, because we're not really on Instagram. Well, we go through phases, but we don't really post on that. LinkedIn's our main platform. And obviously we have a whole strategy for that. It's most of it is outward facing marketing. You know, we add value obviously, but it is to get clients, let's be honest. And I remember, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh, I'll go back on Instagram again. And I share some stuff on my story and I thought, I might do it again the next day. And I remember going in to get my phone and I'm with my family. I was like, what am I doing? I don't need to take a picture of this moment. Like I've got it here. So I just put my phone away. It's like, let's just be here in the moment. This is great. Don't need to ruin it by a picture. How often do you look back on your photographs? I've got fucking thousands of photos on my picture and I rarely look back on them. Yeah. I had to clear out my iCloud was emailing me saying that you're running out of space. So I literally went through, it was last week, and I deleted quite a lot. It was mainly screenshots, the amount of screenshots on your phone. And I'd cleared out loads. I had loads of duplicated photos for some reason. I think it's all the times that like we download like shorts and stuff off the server and everything. I don't know. I just went through and deleted so much. But how often, if anyone listened to this, of all those pictures that you take, how often do you actually look back at the pictures? You don't?
No. I remember reading a proverb a couple of weeks ago of a Buddhist monk. Can't remember the name. It said, life is just one day. You were born on one day. You die on one day. Today is just a day. And it's like we've said before, it's moments. When you're in the moment, because I had this when I took my nephew to Amsterdam when we went to watch the wrestling. And one of the wrestlers came out and I got goosebumps because the atmosphere was just unbelievable. When you've got that many people chanting and jumping up and down and whatever, you can't help but your body just reacts the way it does, right? And I took my phone out and I was going to literally start recording the entrance of this wrestler. I was like, what am I doing? Similar to what you said, I was like, no, back in my pocket and let's just embrace the moment. And we had a good time because who's going to want to watch this? It's like when people video concerts that they go to and gigs. What are you doing? You're watching the whole gig through your fucking phone, live streaming it or putting it to your story.
Yeah.
And it's not just...
You paid hundreds of pounds to be there.
Yeah, it's not like...
it through your phone.
I wouldn't even say it's an age thing. Like, it's 18, 19-year-olds that are doing it. No, you see fully grown adults doing this and you're like, why? Why are you spending not only just your money, but your time? And you're spending time usually with someone you care about. I would imagine if you've gone to a gig or a concert, it's probably with a friend or a partner or a kid or whatever. You just got your phone out so you can record it, which it looks 10 times worse to the people watching it back.
Sounds shit.
It sounds shit. And all you can hear is you singing it badly.
Yeah. Or the guy next to you.
Yeah, exactly. So I find it really interesting. And the Masters has just been on with golf and they have a rule there. There's no phone allowed. You're not allowed to take your phones in.
Okay. All
food is of a certain amount of money, which is low. It's literally like £2 or £3, for example, for a snack. Really, they've stuck by their traditions for decades. And you can just see there's a picture where one of the golfers was about to tee off and he just said, not a phone in sight. And everyone is just so present and they're looking like that. They look interested in it. I thought, yeah. Because when you see it at football grounds back in the early 2000s when football was, going to sound a bit old school now or whatever, game's gone, it's changed. But it is very different now. But back then, when a goal went in, it was just limbs everywhere. People were just jumping up and down and high-fiving and fucking enjoying the moment. Now, it's like, yay, with one arm, and then they're filming it. What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not a case of judging people going, I've had this moment of self-discovery and you're a fucking idiot. I just ask yourself, I'm wondering why I'm doing this. Why am I filming this? Maybe I could just enjoy the moment more because otherwise, when you look back at it, you've ruined the moment that you were in. And you have to watch it back to get that moment again.
You never can.
So it's gone.
It's gone.
And it won't be the same when you do watch it back. So I understand at an intellectual level, and probably an emotional level, frankly, because I'm the same as you, but I've got thousands of pictures. You've got probably of your kids, I've got them of my dogs, and me and my partner and whatever. But when the dog's laid in a certain position, it looks really cute. You get a picture of it, it's nice. But if I really look back at my phone, I've probably got another 120 or whatever of the same picture. And it is nice to look back at things. So I'm not suggesting that it's a bad thing, if your kid has just taken their first steps. But would you not rather enjoy the moment rather than getting your phone out and taking a fucking film of your child doing it so you can show other people? Do you not want to enjoy that moment for you and your husband and wife, or for your parents if they want to look back at their grandkids? I don't know. It's just weird. And on that with social media, I saw someone post yesterday and I literally had to just focus on my breath because I realized I was getting really angry and I have no control over it and all that good stuff. But I thought, oh mate, what the fuck are you doing? So this man posted.
Do we know him?
No, it was someone that I know liked it.
Okay.
Not the back
LinkedIn.
of it. Yeah, I unfollowed the person because I thought, this is your fault I'm seeing this now. So I'm unfollowing you.
Yeah.
It was a picture with him and his 2-year-old in hospital. The kid is hooked up to every fucking machine you can imagine, severely ill.
Where's this going?
And then They were like, oh, you know, we thought there was light at the end of the tunnel, but today it's got worse. And now my kid is touch and go. Please pray for me. I thought,
please pray for me.
If I ever have children,
oh my God.
And it's regardless of age, anyone that I care about, quite frankly, and they're on their potential deathbed, that's how bad this got with this child's condition.
Don't forget to take a photo.
You need to get your phone out and get a selfie.
And put it online. And write a caption.
Me, what are you doing? Caption. Yeah.
Don't forget your hashtags.
Oh no, that was shit. Let me get another one.
Oh God. Yeah.
That is fucked. I'm sorry, but
what
that
were the
is
comments
fucked.
Like underneath?
Oh, pray for the little one. No one called it out, which I thought, okay, you'd have to be quite brave to take a picture, to take the piss out of a picture like that. But I also thought, did you need to post this on social media?
Yeah.
Your child dying, hooked up to a machine.
Yeah.
What is going on?
About?
Have I lost the fucking plot? Some people would boomerang the fucking grandma going into the fucking ground in the coffin, wouldn't they? Oh. Bye, grandma. Oh, she's come back. Oh, yeah. What the fuck is wrong with people? I know that we say, you know, don't judge and all this, but sometimes
your grandma going into the ground.
Sometimes, I'm sorry, we need to take the fucking compassionate coaching hat off and just be people and just say that is fucked.
That's fucked, yeah.
Like when you text me yesterday saying that Luca wasn't well, and you may have to take him to A&E.
Yeah.
At any point, does it enter your mind to go, tell you what, Fran, this is a great opportunity to take a picture. Let's get the fucking filter on. Oh, he's got jaundice. We need to filter that out. For fuck's sake.
Fuck, yeah. I didn't think of it like that. Yeah. Well, it's the same, isn't
Would that
it?
enter your mind at any point?
This was in the middle of the night. We thought we nearly took him to A&E.
Yeah.
Well, wait, let's get a quick video. Got the lights on. Yeah. That's messed up.
It is.
That's really messed up.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it?
But yeah, you're right. It, you know, the compassion, everything else, and empathy. Where's the line? At what point do you just go, that is just fucking stupid?
That's just fucking stupid, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can meditate all you want and all the rest of it, but, you know, there's some times where I think that's kind of the problem with being a coach is the expectation that people put onto you, that you have to be this sage monk that just allows people just to do anything and everything. And that's absolutely fine. No. Like even this morning when I was in David Lloyd getting changed, some guy, it was like he'd left a tap on, but with deodorant, he's just going, and I'm stood this far. I was like, mate, fucking hell. And he's like, what? I was like, can you just direct it somewhere else and not put that much on? He's like, well, what? Like looking at me like I've got the fucking problem. And I'm like, you're spraying deodorant into my mouth. I'm half a foot away from you, you fucking dick. But yeah, you don't have to have that mindset either. It's more the judgment we refer to is if someone, because again, if I was to put my coach proverbial hat back on and go, that guy must feel really insecure and really vulnerable, maybe seeking some reassurance or validation from strangers on the internet, which again, but I question why you could do that when you could get it in another way.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but no, I still stand by the point. Fuck off. Like, that's ridiculous. So
yeah.
The reflection piece for you all listening now is just to become more self-aware. It's not that you can't take pictures of anything ever again. We're advocating for that. It's, what am I doing this for?
Yeah, what's the reason?
What's the driving? Am I doing this because I want it? Like, there's nothing wrong with buying a nice watch because you want it. But if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it.
Yeah. Another one is this really necessary? It's a great question.
What's this going to bring me? Is this a good value or is this a junk value?
Yeah, another one.
Because some people tell me that they buy Range Rover Sports because they're big. Get a Transit then. They're massive.
Yeah. Get a Transit van.
Get a Berlingo.
Yeah.
If you say you're buying a Range Rover because you've always wanted one, great.
That's fine.
Fucking hell, fill your boots, mate. Go for it. No problem. Right? Or, you know, because some people go, like I saw this. I absolutely despise the character that he portrays himself to be, because I don't know him as an individual, but you know, like Samuel Leeds, that
property guy.
Yeah, his content used to really infuriate me, so I just blocked it from my environment because he talks absolute shit and he takes money off desperate people, is how I perceive him. But he put a post up a few weeks ago that goes, "This is why I fly first class," and he got loads of hate. "Oh, you arrive the same time as economy." Yeah, you do, but you don't have someone kicking the back of your fucking chair and kids crying and people like, you know, when you get the shitty, horrible microwaved thingy sandwiches. And by the way, I'm not saying I fly first class anywhere, so I'm not getting on my high horse here, but I can understand at an intellectual level that must be, I have flown first class before in the past, but I understand the premise behind it, that yes, you all arrive at the same time. It's a very different experience.
Yeah, it's the experience.
When you're there.
The experience is the bit that's missing.
Yeah. So why would you not want to do that if you could afford to do it? But if you're doing
you can lie down and go to bed
just to get validation, again, wrong reason. That's what we're getting at. So it went in a very different direction than planned, but I'm glad that it did, because I enjoyed that conversation. So hopefully you guys found value in it as well, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.